charges.
And the accuser gets to face as well.
Exactly. And they should be able to have the opportunity.
No, they've totally turned over our system, and now all the liberty, all the freedom, all the blessings, it's going out the window. And the system's answer is more corruption. That will deliver you to Valhalla.
And yet, right now, with these Occupy protests that we see, and you've covered how it's a mixed bag, and how some of the interventionists are trying to hijack it for their own purposes. But when you get down to the core of it, enough people are frustrated right now to really take to the streets. And I think that's going to accelerate. I mean, David Icke talked about this a little bit. What do you think, Alex? Where do you think it's going in the next 6 months? You know, a lot of people talk about 2012. It's right around the corner. What do you think is going to happen next year with the Occupy protests if they continue through the Christmas season?
Well, I mean, look, the system knew there was about to be a big rebellion against what they were doing. They could track all that with their algorithms, all the data they're spying on together. So they tried to trigger it. They tried to then co-opt it, but that didn't work. So now they're cracking heads all over the country. And clearly this country is in a depression. I mean, you know, here we are having the 4th annual money bomb. I wouldn't even promote these things. The first one we did 4 years ago, and I raised $300,000. And, you know, last year I promoted it some and raised $437,000. This year I promoted it some, and we've raised a lot less this far into the 27-hour broadcast than we normally would, because the country is in a depression. I fully understand that. That's why I've tried to create all these different revenue streams so we can stay at the level we are and hopefully expand a little bit in the face of the globalists, because we do have an effect on them. I mean, we had Janet Napolitano come out just a few months ago and complain about, you know, Matt Drudge and the articles he was linking to about TSA. It's definitely getting to them. It's definitely having an effect on them. And, I mean, again, most revolutionaries in history rob banks to get their money. We sell books and videos and DVDs and have radio sponsors, because we're not revolutionaries. We're restorationists. We want liberty and freedom back, which is a new idea compared to the old tyranny we're basically going under. So in a way, I am a revolutionary or a Renaissance person.
Well, what's really interesting about what you're doing here is you are the reluctant fundraiser at these events. You know, you're never about the money. You've never been about that. Not behind the scenes, not person-to-person conversations, not on the air, nothing. For you know, you're so mission-driven, but the money there's an infrastructure that's got to be fed in a way. You know, and right now, dollars are the only way that either one of us can feed.
Well, sure, exactly. The globalists will get us to kill our grandma for a stick of bubble gum and do anything for just fiat garbage. And people say, well, then why do you want Federal Reserve notes? Because that's the symbol of energy. That's what funds this. And I'll be honest with you, 4 years ago, I was not about the money, because I had 5-6 crew members. And we were just going to keep having the little simple dinky websites and maybe an article a day and some stuff we posted and a couple films a year on the radio show. And people were always, do this, do that, have this idea. And you know what? I realized, instead of being angry at folks always telling me to do more, they're right. Because we were already reaching millions a week then, we had a responsibility. And since I've tried to expand 4 years ago and I got 30-plus people working for us and a lot bigger office and a nightly news show and reports every day and reporters, we're probably having 4 or 5 times the effect I was having 5 years ago. And so now it almost becomes a game, because I have to make something interesting and fun to do it, to go out and get the sponsors and make sure they're the right sponsors, and to go out and raise the money and make the films and you know, products I like and then promote them. So, I mean, it does become an issue of, well, it also becomes an issue of people don't keep their job, which is also an important mission. People I've recruited, people I've trained, structure I've built, if we don't get the blood supply to them. And it's the viewers out there that supply that by spreading the word. I mean, look, going back 3 or 4 years ago, before we hit the total depression, as audience went up, revenue followed it. Exactly. Now audience is going like that, like a fighter jet going straight up. Just, okay, audience is just like a rocket going into orbit. But audience is going like that, but in the last 3 years, revenue went like that.
Revenue's not tracking it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not tracking it. So that's how I knew I was in a depression 3 years ago. I'd never seen anything like this. I looked at all the actuaries, talked to the economists, and now they admit it's the greatest recession, triple dip. No, I mean, by every measure, that's a depression. So I understand that. That's why I've said on air, we will continue to operate if this money bomb isn't as big a success as the others, because I've done other funding mechanisms for the time being.
Yeah,
but it becomes a thing of like a drought, as a tree's got deep roots, so even in a drought it can live, but it doesn't flower as much as it would. We need people to spread the word about the free video streams up at Infowars.com. We need people, but not. And I'll say this again: if you're a old lady or old man on Social Security, because those are always the folks that actually try to give. I do not want your money. I've had people come to me in crowds, like a blind man with like $500. He said, "This is half the money I'm going to have the next month. Here it is." I stuck it back in his pocket. Yeah. Because those are people that have hearts and souls. They're giving this thing. But then if I took that money, when I bought a new pair of shoes, I'd feel dirty. Or when I, put gas in my car, or when I bought the crew pizza. I don't want to listen. There's plenty of people out there that are middle class or wealthy, and you're the exact types that sit on the money. And because you do that, the globalists are going to raise taxes and take everything you got. I mean, you either do like the founders did and others have done. You either invest, and don't invest here. Get my films or other films, whatever you make copies. But my films you can make copies of. Start your own website. Start your own local radio show. Start your own access TV show. You just better do something. And I'm telling you, one of the best places, bang for the buck, to support is Infowars, Infowars.com, InfowarsMoneyBomb.com. Right now, it's happening right now. And I see the donations. The average donation coming in is about $12. We need to see the people that have made the money bomb successful in the past, 10,000, 20,000. You're the people that your donation is going to have the big effect. Mike, you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I do, actually. It's interesting. We have a similar experience in running organizations. Our organization, for the first 5 years of its existence, we didn't even take sponsors at all. And
I did the same thing.
We couldn't survive. I mean, we could not survive. We were losing money for the first several years. I actually put money into it because I have a background in the software industry. So I was taking money out of that and dumping it into what later became Natural News, losing money every day. And then we had people just like you have who came to us and said, "You got to cover this story. Oh my gosh, look at what's happening over here with the CDC or this vaccine or that pharmaceutical or whatever." And you get to a point where you say, we have a moral obligation to cover these stories, but we don't have the funds to do it. So the answer is...
You don't even have a crew to ship products or books. You don't have people to do research. You don't have the money for a building or cameras or equipment. I mean, it's simple. The government takes your money and gives it to globalist operations and MSNBC and NPR. We're here just saying, buy the products, buy the books, whatever.
That's exactly it. And then once we began to take sponsors, then we really exploded in our ability to cover news. You probably saw that. You probably saw that happen in our history. Where we're able to hire more reporters, better investigators, to put more money into a story.
No, the globalists, they're all about being big and powerful. That's why they always demonize any political activist that are outside the globalist paradigm ever even selling products. I used to give all my films away 100% free.
Yeah, you did.
And then the minute I started even selling them to fund myself, ooh, that's evil.
Well, some of that is just the trolls out there, the obvious trolls who are always poking, criticizing everything. It doesn't matter. They don't really matter. They're irrelevant. They're hired trolls. What matters is that your viewers and the people who are watching this and the people who are offering their donations right now at InfowarsMoneyBomb.com, these are the people who get it. They are the loyalists in the sense of they understand the importance of freedom in the press, in the new media. You are a massively a wave-making giant in the new media. And it's crucial that you continue to have the resources that you need to pursue this even further, because it's only begun. I mean, the acceleration that we talked about has only begun. Imagine where this is going to be in 12 months. Imagine how much more news you're going to need to cover. You're going to need that room back there where Kurt Nimmo sits. You're going to need, a couple more people in there.
Well, that's the thing is that we got this 7,500 square foot building with the money bomb 2 money bombs ago. And we started building the infrastructure, and there wasn't room. And then we, 2 years ago, got the other side, but they didn't have money to hire the people to fill it and build the studio. Now that's done. You've been over there.
Yeah. I
mean, this is a almost 16,000 square foot deal. We've got room for another 20 people, cramming them in. We got easy room for another 10. But I'm just trying to hire 5 And then at the same time, we need to have a little money backup if I get sued or attacked. The globalists analyze our entire deal.
Of course they do.
I've got to be able to defend things. That's my mission. I've told my wife, I said, we will sell our house. If it ever, she's always like, we should sell everything now and live in a ditch to fight these people. And I'm like, no, we've got to have some reserves here, you know, building up for a war. We've got to do this. But
there's nothing wrong with having a roof over your head.
No, but my point is we actually dream about other people coming forward that are light years better than I am, like you, Mike, in certain respects, so that I can just step back and, you know, move out to a ranch somewhere. We got family land and stuff, and literally, like, you know, you got donkeys and stuff and have a farm.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy fighting tyranny, but the problem is once you get into this, it's all encompassing. It is, you know, I'm up here 10 o'clock every night. You know, on the news crew, we've set all this up. We're beta testing it, getting it ready. It's already reaching a lot of folks. But we have barely enough people to even do it every night. We need a couple more just so people can rest sometimes. You know, it's kind of like a race car team where they've got the engine and the parts, and they put the car on the field with one set of tires. And that's what we've got. And the tires are bald and about to blow. The engine's smoking. We're winning the race. But I'm like, hey, we need a replacement parts. We need more fuel. We need tires. We need everything. I mean, we can, you know, do this on the cheaps. And I guess if, you know, the economy keeps going into depression. See, I wanted to outgrow the depression. I saw this coming 3-4 years ago. I wanted to be up front, to be at a bigger platform to face them. We're now here, but we're sinking as fast as everything else sinks. Just because we were ahead of the curve, we're like an island, but still the island's sinking as well.
Well, I think that as things begin to unravel out there, every milestone event that takes place proves InfoWars and you to be correct, because so much of this you saw in the plans you talked about. You saw it coming out, not by any psychic means, just by analyzing it like you talk about. But as that begins to happen, more and more people will come to InfoWars, and whatever future news efforts you have underway, they will get more and more attention. So you'll be able to, I mean, I think the resources will come to you because people are increasingly realizing that you're right. You've been right. You're on the record being right. It's not, you know, it's not pulling it out of the air. Oh, he was right. No, go back and watch the videos, right? Go back and even from before 9/11, you know, go back and watch it. So as people wake up, they are turning away from the mainstream media and they are turning to the new media.
I agree, but there's going to be the counterstrike to censor us and you and others.
Yeah.
There's going to be other attacks, that we already see happening, things that have happened before that we didn't really talk about. But you know, all this is going on. And so that's why I'm really glad and proud and honored and you know, satisfied in all this work that we did see this storm coming. We did prepare to get stronger and bigger in the face of it. Now I see the next bigger wave coming. And, you know, that's the issue. People have to decide what they're going to do, what they're going to support. Because so many people say, yeah, you woke me up, now I'm moving on to take care of myself or whatever, as if other people aren't awake yet. A lot of people are ready to be awakened, but they're not really awake yet. And that's why our greatest work is ahead. And that's why spread the word about Infowars.com, about naturalnews.com. It is, you know, that's why I like Mike Adams, because I've known him, a few years now, interviewed him for many years, but he's been here in Austin for a while, gotten to know him. I can tell he's not an egomaniac or a crazy person. So many people,
good to hear.
So many people, myself included, I'm a little bit of a crazy person, but not an egomaniac. Living here, you know, working with other people, it's like they don't like tyranny, but they also kind of, it's like ooh, this is fun. We're like celebrities. This is not about that. This is about work. This is about research. It's about dedication. It's about doing the right thing. It's about not compromising in the face of fear.
You know, I'm like you. I'd